What is going on, creative? Swing again from Ceasar Graphics. Welcome to my channel. This is the part 2 of the how to use background series, and in this video I'm going to be teaching you guys how to use pattern background. So sit back, relax, and keep watching. So I'm going to type pattern here now. All right, pattern background, like that. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to randomly pick one of the pattern that I have here. So I have lots of patterns here, so I can save this, but I'm going to save this. All right, I'm going to save this, and let's see. Okay, I actually like this. All right, I like this. This is looking rough. All right, and I'm going to start with, let's start with this. Oh, it looks blurry. Okay, let's see if this is not looking blurry. Let's go to the website. Okay, it's from Pinterest. Okay, all right, so I'm going to save it. So I'm going to hit save image. In fact, let me quickly say this here, guys. If you're looking at getting backgrounds for your project, all right, Pinterest is one website that I believe you can get good background image to use. All right, so I'm going to advise every one of you to start getting used to playing with Pinterest. Okay, so I'm going to put let's just drag this out. I'm going to hit file, new. Let's make this 800 by 800. All right, and my color mode is going to be on RGB because this is a social media artwork, so color mode should be on RGB. And I'm going to hit the create button. All right, yeah, so I'm going to go straight to where I have the image saved on my computer here, and I'm going to drag that and drop here, and I'm going to make that fill up the space like that. Now the advantage of busy background like this is if you place anything that is different from this pattern on the background, it will surely grab attention. All right, so I'm going to quickly show you guys how to play with this. Now remember, I told you guys that your background is what shape your layout. So when you have patterns like this, the first thing you need to do before placing your content is how can you make this background blend with your layout. All right, so right now, if you zoom in, you see we have all these strokes with, these strokes intersecting on like this here. So you need to find a way to make this blend with whatever you're going to place on it. So I'm going to show you what I'm trying to say here. So I'm going to go to my text tool here, and I'm going to type the title here. All right. So in order to make the contrast balance, you need to use something opposite what you have on your background, which is the opposite of thin is bold. All right, so and that's what I'm trying to do here. All right, then I'm going to make this bold. All right, I'm going to make this bold like that. Okay, and like right now we can still see our title clearly, right? So I'm going to show you guys how to play with this well before we get to the next project. So I'm going to push this down. All right, so I'm using shifts with the up arrow key here on my keyboard, and I'm going to push this in like that. All right, yeah, I know some of you are looking at it like, Ceasar, this is still not visible. Don't worry, we're going to make it visible. Okay, so right now we need to have a stroke. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a copy of this like that and convert this to a shape. Now the same move I'm making here, for those of you who are Illustrator or Corel Draw user, I'm sure you should be able to make this type of effect I'm making here. But there's something I'm going to do here now that you need Photoshop, to do it, because when it comes to playing with background, all right, Photoshop is one application I believe will help you with creating that unity, because unity is very important in graphics design. All right, so I'm going to add stroke to this like that. All right, and It should be out. All right. My stroke should be out like that. And yep. So this, so, and then I'm going to move this in like that. Now, as you can see, my text is now visible, or my title is visible on the background, but there's still that connection is not there yet. So let's see how we can create that connection, which is one of the things that, as designers, doing it is going to make your project look extraordinary. It's going to make it look different from what clients are used to. Like what I always say to you guys, that one of the things that's going to separate you from other designers is when you are good at creating what people don't see coming. All right. So right now, this concept here is what most designers do. So let's make it now look a bit different from what people are used to. So I'm going to put this in a group now. All right. And I'm going to convert this. I'm going to apply layer mask to this. Now, listen, guys, the reason why I'm making this move here now is because of the type of background I have. All right. So I'm going to use another background again so you guys can understand my point here on how to use pattern background. All right. So I'm going to select the brush tool now. And I'll go to my brush settings here now and select hard brush and turn this off. All right. And I'm going to make this smaller like that. And now I'm going to zoom in. So I'm going to reduce. All right. I'm going to turn down the opacity of the layer like that and zoom in. And what I'm going to now do now is to make the pattern overlap on the title to create that unity. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow this part here. All right. I'm going to select the brush tool. All right. And then I'm going to make sure that my foreground here is set to black. Very important. And I'm going to take this out from here like this. All right. I'm going to take it out from here like that. Good. And let's see. For the C, we can also do this. Okay, like that. And for this side here, we can do this. So for those of you that care to know what I'm doing here, I'm going to make this visible now. All right, so you guys can see what's the move I'm making. Look at this. Look at how it looks as if the title is on the background. So I'm going to zoom in again, and I'm going to turn down my opacity again, and then continue with what I'm doing here. So I'm going to make the same move here. So I'm going to try to be very fast, with this. All right. And let's see if let's start with the letter M. Now, when you're doing this, guys, there's one thing I need you guys to know how to do here. When you're doing this, you need to be very careful with the way you take out part of the title. Why? Because shape, all right, is what we normally use to identify objects. So the same thing applies to graphic design. The look, the shape of letters is what we normally use to identify them. So when you tamper with the shape of any letter to the point where it's going to look different, it's going to be difficult for your viewers to identify it. So put that in mind. All right. So I'm going to put this here like that. All right. I'm sure by the time I'm done doing this, you guys are going to like the end result of this. All right. So the idea here, like, what I've been saying to you guys is to let you guys know that you can actually use any background to achieve your projects. Okay. I'm going to make this visible now, and let's see what we have. Look at how nice and beautiful this is. In order to now create that unity here, if you look at the the pattern here, you see there's this touch of shadows. All right, there's this touch of shadows on the tip of the stroke. So let's apply the shadow to our title here. I'm going to select create a new layer So my shadow should be above the title. All right. So I'm going to select the brush tool now and softly now make sure you're on the soft round brush. All right. So I'm going to softly apply the the brush right here. So this is going to serve as the shadow from the stroke. So I'm going to make this bigger. So for those of you that care to know how to increase your brush size, you can use the square bracket to do that. All right. Yeah. So we're going to do this. I'm going to apply the same move here. All right. So for those of you that want to know how to use shadow, all right, I have a tutorial on my YouTube channel that I believe will guide you on how to play with shadow. All right. Because shadow is another is another tool that we use as designers to tell story in graphic design. All right, good. So then for this side here, I'm gonna apply the same move again. Apply it here like that, and boom. And look at this. Look at how beautiful this is. So if we now want to add lengthy text, or maybe want to add the time, the date, and everything, then what you now need to do is, because the size of the lettering is going to be smaller, so what you now need to do is to draw maybe a shape. All right, you can now draw a shape here like that. All right, but make sure that there's balance. All right, on your project. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that this aligns to something. So I'm going to move this here. All right, and activate my guide here, which is Control R, and make sure this aligns to this here. Beautiful. So what we're now going to do is we are going to make the same move again to create that unity again. So what we can do is to turn down the opacity again, then add a layer mask. This should be out here. Add a layer mask to this, select the brush tool, and then you can now take this out from here. All right, you can take this out from here like this. Okay, you can take this out from here, and then you can also make the same move here by just, all right, now if I make this visible, you see it looks like the stroke is now overlapping on my board here. All right, so if I hide this now, hide this, now you see that we have where we can now place our other information. All right, I can always move this and paste it here. All right, so for those of you that want to know the character I'm using here, I think it's Gotham. Yeah, I think it's Gotham I'm using. Oh, it's Monstrat. Good. All right, so I can now use other typography here if I want to. I can use Ceasar. Should be LUCI. Yeah, I can use this and add space like that with the venue. And also put the venue right under this. All right, like that. And right, and if you notice that the space is too far, this is fine because we have lots of pattern on the background, so we need enough space for our small texts in order for it to be more visible and eye-catchy on the project. All right, so yeah, so that's it for this. So let's try another background. But I hope you guys like this. If you do, please hit the like button, and if you're enjoying this video, please, I would appreciate if you can do that. Hit the like button and let me know if you love what you're watching. All right, so let's go straight to another type of pattern, and I'm going to say bye to today's meeting. So I have, I think I have another pattern here. And the reason why I decided to pick this pattern again here is I want every one of you to know that your pattern is what pattern background most time is what inspire your layout. All right, so your layout should your pattern should determine how you're going to place your content. All right, and these are designs that I have. It's not like I have the picture of what it should look like. All right, it's not like I have the picture. I'm just making you guys understand that design is easy, and what you just need to do is to understand, just make sure that you understand that every element you use on your project is part of the project. All right. Yeah. So I'm going to make this smaller because this is looking too big. So I'm going to activate Create Transform with Control T for Windows users and Command T for Mac users. So I'm going to hold down Alt and scale this down. And I'm going to position this somewhere here. Then I'm going to make a copy of this by hitting Control J. And I'm going to hit Control T again to activate Create Transform. And I'm going to, let's just move this up here. All right. And this time I'm going to position this to somewhere here. All right. I'll position this here. Yeah. Then I'm going to hit the Enter key and like that. All right. Yeah. Beautiful. So now let's start placing our text. All right. And I'm going to make a copy of this. So I'll drag this and drop here like that. Okay. Then I'm going to move this above this. All right. So we need to delete this. No, this is our text. All right. This is our title. I'm going to hit Control I, and this should be above this. We don't need this. So I'm going to delete this. And we also don't need this background. And for the outline, we don't need the outline. All right. We don't need it. And we don't need the shadow. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to hide this for now, and I'm going to make this be on their separate layers. All right. So I'm going to make night be on a separate layer. All right. And I'm going to hit Control J and put this here. And then I'm going to paste this with Control V back like that. All right. Then we are going to change the color of this to the color of our background. Now, when you are trying to place an object on a pattern background, all right, it's always good to use colors that are opposite the color of the color on your pattern in order to create contrast and make your elements visible on the pattern. All right. Now, but there are times where you need to use the same color on the pattern, but what you now need to do is to play with the value of the color. Now, when I say value, I'm referring to you moving the making the color darker like this. So if I move this down like this, I'm changing the saturation of the color. All right. And if I move this to this side, I'm changing the value. All right. So right now I'm changing the value like this. And if I move this to this side, I'm changing the saturation of the color. All right. So I'll move this to this side and then, and this is good. All right. But for contrast sake, all right, I'll prefer to have the color. All right. I like the color of the pattern here. So what I'll do is I'm going to use the color of this pattern on the side, and I'm going to put this in a group. All right, because I like the color of this pattern here. So what I'm going to do is I'll go to my adjustment tab right here. So I'm going to show you guys how you can change the value of the color on your background. So we're going to use levels now. So I'm going to activate levels here. And if I move this down, you see we're changing the value and the saturation of the color this way. There's another way you can do this. All right. You can always use hue saturation to do this. So if I activate hue saturation here now, and I'm going to move this here. So I want this to only affect this color here. I can pick this. All right. The color, this picker through here, and pick the color from here. And now if I move this, now I'm changing the hue of the pattern. All right. But right now, what I want to focus on is just only the saturation and the value. So the lightness simply means the value. So if I move this down like that, now we're changing the saturation. And if I move this down, you see we're changing the value like that. All right. So I'm going to turn this off, and I prefer levels for this. So now we can hardly see our type on the background. So it means we still need to play with the value. So I'll come right here now, and I'm going to move from here to this side like that in order to make my, my elements, all right, visible on the background. All right. Now, see, guys, there are times you don't need this, but what I always say to you guys, visibility is very key in graphic design. Making your content visible is very, very important in graphic design. And that's what I'm trying to do here. All right. So now there's something I want to teach you guys here, which is a bit different from what I taught you guys in the previous background, which is I know some of you may think, okay, we need to now start making the title zigzag on this pattern, but no. So what we're going to use here is the hidden guide that made this pattern balance. All right, that's what that's what we determine our layout here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys something here now, because I know so many of you don't know that it's something hidden that you can't see on this pattern here. So I'm going to draw a shape here. Change this to this color here, so for visibility sake. So if I move this from here down here, like that, and activate the free transform, and I rotate this way. If I place this here, you'll see that there's a guide that is hidden on this pattern here that is affecting the visibility. I mean, it's not affecting anything, guys. All right, so I'm going to scale this up like there. Now look at this. So if you look at this part of my pattern here, you see that we have this white fill resting on the guide, and we also have the solid part here resting on the guide. So this hidden guide here is where we are going to place our title. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make this visible. All right, I'm going to make this visible like that, and should put this like this. So I'm going to hide this. All right, and let's just make it visible. All right, so I'm going to activate free transform with Control T right there, and I'm going to position this top of this, right? So we can even make this bigger. I'll make it bigger. So I'm going to make sure this aligns to this here, right? So I'm going to move this a bit. All right. So right now our text is still not visible. So we need to now change we need to adjust the value of the color and the saturation. So if I come right here now and I adjust the value by moving this in like that, all right, and adjusting the saturation by moving this down, all right. Let's make it move it down. We really need to see that. Yes, this is good. And understand it's okay. But now look at how visible our title is on the pattern here. So for this, I'll make this visible. All right, and I'm going to activate free transform and rotate this. All right, and then make sure this also is resting on this. And yeah, so we can also change the color. So we can change this to a more visible color, just in case you notice that you're not really feeling the color you have there. So we can use this color here, and trust me, it will still fly like that. And I'm going to have space to change this like there, right? Change this back here. So, right, and yeah, so we can do the same thing for this, right? All right, and the text here can use can also use black. So it's not compulsory we use the same color from the background. All right, we can still use black, and yes, it's still going to look visible. And if you notice that, yeah, this part here is not really visible, you can still draw a shape, all right, to help making that side visible. So if I move this to somewhere here, I'm trying to make sure this aligns to this. So if I move this to somewhere here, or let's just make it align to let's make it touch the grid, right? So if I do it like that, yes. So yeah, I believe this is okay, and we can still change the value of the pattern for visibility sake, and we are good. Another good way you can use pattern again is I'm going to turn this off, but let's just put this again in another group. So I'm still going to use the same um, pattern. All right, so I'll put this in a group and hit Control J. All right, turn this off, and this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this to up like that. All right, then I'm going to click this to my title, right? So I'm going to hold down Control and click on the thumbnail of my text layer here, and hold on Shift, make the same move again. I hold on Shift and Control at the same time and click on the thumbnail of the night layer, and I'm going to add a layer mask to this now by clicking on the layer mask icon, and I'm going to hit Control I to reverse the mask. And this time I'm going to turn this up. Sorry, it should be Control I like this. All right, create a solid layer, and I'm going to pick this color from here, move this in here, and change my blend mode to multiply. And now if I make this pattern visible now, all right, that's our background. If I make our background visible, look at what we have, you know, the value. All right, so we can move this forward like that, and look at how cool and nice this is. You can still change the color of this just in case you want to have another variation of you know, the pattern on the title like that. You can use another color like this, or you can use another color here, and look at what we're getting here. This is beautiful. So we can always use this. All right, and if you notice your background is still looking too bright, then you can come back here and tweak this to you know, make this look the way you want it. All right, and yeah, I'm glad you made it to the end of this tutorial. All right, so if you're able to achieve any project with what you learned from this training, kindly post it on your Instagram handle, and remember to tag my Instagram handle is at Ceasar Graphix. And if you have not subscribed, remember to hit the subscribe button, and remember to check the post notification bell so you get notified when I post the part 3 of this series. All right, and if you love this video, give it a thumbs up, and also drop a comment if there's anything you want to share with me, or you have questions you want to ask me. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next.